Nice to see everyone. Happy New Year. We see some familiar faces and some new faces.
Hi.
Yeah.
Good to see
Hello.
you. Good to have you.
Hello.
It's good to see everyone. So, we like to start on time. So we are going to jump right in. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kamala Allen, and I am privileged, really, to serve as the president of the Parliamentarians of Bucks County. Tonight, we are going to be visiting stop 4 on our Year in the Life road trip. So those of you who have been with us for the first few stops, you know that we are working our way through the series of motions related to a main motion that we put out in the fall of last year. And so each one of these stops along our road trip has us addressing that particular main motion with another other motion. So that's the way that we're going through and trying to give everybody the opportunity to understand the application of a secondary motions to this main motion. And so we're going through subsidiary and privileged motions over the course of this series that will end with our event at Parliamentary Law Month in April. And I believe that's the first Saturday in April. Someone from my unit will have to correct me if I misspeak. And so we hope that you have received our invitation to attend that event. Our keynote speaker will be former NAP parliamentarian Tim Nguyen, PRP. And so he's excited about coming and presenting a topic that has been kind of a, beat down the doors. We want to hear him present that again, which is navigating the 12th edition of RONR. So we are excited about that. We hope that you will join us. Thank you, RP Reeves. It's April 6th. And so again, we will drop a link to that event in the chat before the end of tonight's session. That being said, I want to really highlight our guest speaker for this evening, and that is registered parliamentarian Kelly Reid. I'll briefly introduce her to you. Kelly is actually, I believe, one of our charter members for the parliamentarians of Bucks County. She has worked for over 33 years with Johnson & Johnson Innovative Medicine, more than 20 years in their Oncology Regulatory Affairs Department. Kelly serves as the secretary of the Parliamentarians of Bucks County and as board parliamentarian for the YWCA of Bucks County. She serves in other organizations, including the Bucks County chapter of Jack and Jill of America, where she is a sergeant at arms. And she served as a 2022-24 National Governance Task Force lead for Jack and Jill of America, or on that task force for Jack and Jill of America Incorporated. And lastly, she serves as the treasurer for the Bucks County chapter of the Links Incorporated. So we are thrilled to have RP Reid leading us through our road trip this evening. So I just want to take one moment. I can't see everybody, but if there are any of our NAP, state association, or unit dignitaries who are on with us this evening, we want to give you an opportunity to bring a brief greetings to the see, at the moment, we have about 34 assembled tonight. So if there's anyone who would like to bring greetings on behalf of their unit or state association or NAP, please feel free to do so. You can come off mute and feel free to do that.
Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry, I lost my voice earlier today. So I'm Shabande Afolabi, registered parliamentarian, the unit president of the Jersey Parliamentarians of Hudson County. So I bring you greetings on behalf of the unit, and thank you again, Bucks County unit, for always presenting such wonderful presentations. So look forward to learning more tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. We're so glad to have you.
Good evening. My name is Anthony Thompson, RP. I am the president of the Parliamentarians of Nassau-Suffolk County from District 1. Always glad to be on with Bucks County. You guys do it right all the time. So looking forward to the training. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. I see JJ.
Yes, thank you. I'm JJ Jonathan Jacobs, currently an RP. and I've been the recently elected secretary of the Delaware Valley Unit.
Glad to have you, JJ. Regina Williams?
Good evening. I'm Regina Williams, the Vice President of the Parliamentarians of Westchester, New York, as well as the Treasurer of the New York Association of Parliamentarians. I'm glad to be here with you today. I have had the honor of meeting your president at the NAP conference, so it is very nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too. Priscilla Murphy.
Good evening, everyone. I am Priscilla Murphy from Kent County of Delaware. I am the secretary and I am the parliamentarian for the Delaware State Association of Parliamentarians. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to participate tonight.
Wonderful. We're so glad to have you. So with that, I will turn it over to our featured speaker for this evening, RP Kelly Reid.
Excellent, excellent. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much, and to be in with such esteemed company. As President Allen outlined, this has been a continuous journey. However, you did not have to be, on board at the very beginning. You could jump in at any time. And so at this point in the juncture, I'm going to talk about object to the consideration of the question, postpone indefinitely, and appeal as it relates to a main motion. She already mentioned as well to stay tuned for continuing discussions around, additional topics to come. And I look forward to PRP Jenkins will be handling this same main motion and talking about amending in our next juncture in the journey. We're going to do things a little bit differently tonight. After I go through some content, we're going to do some Mentimeter type questions where I would like it to be much more participatory and you can see each other's responses live. So what I ask is that you grab your phone. I'll show this again later, but just grab your phone and just, log into menti.com. The code is on the screen, and I believe RP Reeves will also put it in the chat. Again, I'll show it again, but this is just a tickler so that you can start to get yourself ready. Okay, our learning objectives tonight will be to really learn how to use the motions of object to the consideration of the question, postpone indefinitely, and appeal in relationship to a main motion that was originally outlined. This really is putting the bottom line up front, the learning objectives. I want you to walk away with being able to contextualize how these motions, especially object to the consideration of the question and postpone indefinitely, prevent action, and how the motion to appeal help to maintain the rules of order. And of course, review all of the standard descriptive characteristics as applicable for these motions. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and get into it for today's journey and just level set and pick up where we left off. The main motion is outlined above as it was originally in this series of discussion. And it's really that someone has made the motion to move to have a holiday brunch fundraiser in the fall. And I've already outlined the three motions that we're going to talk about tonight. Just to level set, and I know I'm with a group of very experienced parliamentarians here, but just to level set with the types of motions, and that we have motions that really fall into five categories. You have main, subsidiary, privilege, incidental, and bring back motions. Tonight, of course, we have the main motion, and the other three that we're talking about: subsidiary, which are used to assist the assembly in treating or disposing of a main motion. They can either hasten or delay an action. We have one of those, and then we have two incidental motions, which really deal with is a question of procedure and rises out of another question or pending motion. Now, the descriptive characteristics of the motions are, and I know we all know this, I just really kind of, wanted to give a little bit of, icons to each one as we go through the slides. And so you already are familiar with the interrupt, second, debate, amend, vote, and reconsider. And then when they're not applicable, you'll see on the right, I'll put like the circle with a slash to it to denote that it's not applicable. So this is just really just a key for information that you probably already know already. So let's get into the situation right up front. So we have our main motion on the right. That is that, someone has moved to host a holiday brunch fundraiser. However, the situation is that, there's talk of, some type of outbreak in the area. And there's a subset of members that are really concerned about this outbreak, and that it can be really confounded in the fall with, many other conditions going around, and then the confined spaces. And they believe that this fundraiser would be unprofitable because no one would come, and an embarrassment because of the low numbers. And they, feel strongly that something like this shouldn't even be brought forward to the unit to consider. And so what option is available to them? So here I go through the objection to the consideration of the question, which is an incidental motion. The description is that, it really is preventing a motion from being considered. It enables the assembly to right up front just avoid it from even being on the table per se. I like to think of it as almost someone had told me, you can almost think of it as a negative second, right? That if a second is meant to be supportive of hearing the discussion, the objection to the consideration of the question is almost like a negative one, if you want to think about it that way. It takes precedence over the original motion and over any unstated subsidiary motion. And when I say that, it's anything that's unstated, hasn't been stated by the chair, except for lay on the table. You need to raise it before debate has started, right? So you really need to be really thoughtful about how quickly you get in there and object to the consideration, because if debate has started, it's really too late. So just to go through some of the characteristics, it does not need a second. It is not amendable. It is not debatable. You can interrupt. And the symbol here is that you should really understand that it requires a 2/3 vote against in order to sustain it. And it really does come down to how the question is worded. And so we'll go through that when we go through the script. And you can reconsider the negative vote that is sustaining the objection. The effect of it is that when sustained, the main motion is dismissed for the session and cannot be renewed except by unanimous consent or by reconsideration. And when it's not sustained, the main motion is considered as if nothing, no objection has ever been raised. So let's go through it in script form here. And maybe I can ask for a volunteer for member A, one for member B in the chair. Okay, Jonathan, what would you like to be? I see you.
Could I be member B?
Sure. Do I have one for member A? Feel
Yeah,
free to come
Regina?
on. Yeah, because
Sure,
I
I'll
can't
be
see
number A.
anybody.
Regina Williams, I'll be number A. Member A.
And I
And the
think
chair.
Sandy Baker, beautiful Sandy Baker. It's we have everybody a chair. We have a chair.
Okay. All
Okay,
right.
you want me as chair?
Yes, please. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right, so let's get started. Member A,
I move that we hold a holiday brunch fundraiser in the fall.
a member rises even if another has been assigned to the floor and without waiting to be recognized, addresses the chair. Member B.
Madam President, I object to the consideration of the question.
The consideration of the question is objected to. Shall the question be considered? Those in favor of considering it, rise. Be seated. Those opposed to considering the question, rise. Be seated. There are less than 2/3 opposed and the objection is not sustained. The question is on the motion that we hold a holiday brunch fundraiser in the fall.
Okay. Now, if it's the objection or if the objection is sustained, the announcement goes as follows. Chair, could you read
There are
it?
2/3 opposed and the question will not be considered. Is there further new business?
Okay, thank you. So, you know, it's really important here to see how the question is phrased, right? So, shall the question be considered, right? And that's where I'm just going to go back one slide. Shall the question be considered? It is really important to really understanding that when it's no, you need the 2/3 in the negative to sustain it. All right. So again, we have the main motion. I move that the holiday brunch fundraiser be held in the fall. The situation now is that, you know, some in the unit think that it's very important to have this fundraiser, right? They need the money from the fundraiser to really put on a good parliamentary law month set of workshop series, right? You and a few other members, you've already spoken in debate, but you've exhausted your opportunity, your number of times that you can speak in debate, and you don't want to see it defeated, but you have more stuff that you would like to say, right, about the merits of it. And you know, some may even want to gauge how the body may be sitting with this issue. What options are available to you, right? So this one, we're going to go through postpone indefinitely, which is a subsidiary motion. You know, one could describe this motion as, you know, it doesn't postpone anything. It really is intended to kill the main motion for the duration of the session, or just avoid a direct vote on it, right? There could be circumstances where, you know, the strategy could be to avoid negative optics of having a negative vote on a main motion that you present the, you know, postpone indefinitely, so that, you know, you're not, you're avoiding the optics of having that on record as a negative vote or something like that for your main motion. So you can read about how some strategists may try to use something like that in that regard. It's your lowest ranking subsidiary motion. Limit or extend debate and previous question can be applied to it, but you by itself, it cannot be committed, definitely postponed or laid on the table. It can It can't be done alone. Some of the characteristics for this motion would be that it needs a second. It's not amendable, but you can debate it. You cannot interrupt. And it needs a majority vote. And it can be reconsidered only for in the affirmative. The affirmative vote can be reconsidered. The effect of it is that, you know, and like it was in the situation, that debate can go into the main motion, and some may want an opportunity if they've exhausted their time debating in the main motion, or they really kind of want to gauge the strength of the opposition. They may want to use this as a strategy, right? And if it's sustained, the question is suppressed during for the duration of the session, and it continues throughout the series if there are several meetings involved. And if it's not sustained, you cannot renew it during that time, during that session. Okay, so let's go through a little bit of a script for Postpone Indefinitely. Here I need four volunteers, a member A, a member B, and a member C, and then a chair. Okay, Letitia?
Yes,
Anthony?
I can be member A.
Okay, thank you. Anthony?
Whichever one you want.
Why don't you be the chair?
Okay.
Okay. I need a member B and a member C. Gloria?
B.
B, okay, and then a member C. Crystal. All right. I think we have everybody, right? All right, I'm going to close that. So member A, could you get us started, please?
Yes, I move that we hold a holiday brunch fundraiser in the fall.
Second.
Okay, let's just assume that there's some debate on the main motion, and member C is recognized by the chair.
I move that the motion be postponed indefinitely. Second.
It is moved and seconded that the motion to hold a holiday brunch in the fall be postponed indefinitely. Is there any discussion on postponing indefinitely?
Okay, so there's debate on the postpone indefinitely, and that debate can go into the main motion itself. Chair.
The question is on the motion to postpone indefinitely the main motion to hold a holiday brunch in the fall. As many as are in favor of postponing the motion indefinitely, say aye. Those opposed, say no. The ayes have it, and the main motion to hold a fundraiser in the fall is postponed indefinitely.
Okay, and if the motion to postpone indefinitely is lost?
The noes have it. The motion to postpone indefinitely is lost. The question is on the motion to hold a holiday fundraiser in the fall.
Excellent. Excellent. So I feel like this one was pretty straightforward in terms of how you know, the question is asked and how it goes back to the business at hand if it's lost. Okay. All right, so now we have another situation. It kind of, you know, still builds on each other, where we have the object to the consideration of the question, that was lost or it was not sustained. And now we have the postpone indefinitely was also lost. So we don't have those things in front of us. And this meeting is contentious, right? And time is limited. And so there's another motion that another member feels is important and they want to, they don't want this to be a protracted meeting and they want to save some time. So they came up with this idea that they want to add the other topic to the existing motion so that both measures could be passed together. So the thought is to amend the motion to add planting a grove of trees for $1,000 in the memory of a member that has recently passed on, right? So it's very important to that person that we honor this person. However, the chair does not believe that this amendment is appropriate in relationship to this holiday fundraiser, but you disagree. So what's next? And that's appeal, right? So before we get into, appeal, like the standard form of appeal, it's important to understand that appeal really the debatability of appeal changes based on the parliamentary circumstances, right? And when it's not debatable in terms of appeal, it's when it's in relationship to the things that I have on the right side of the screen. When it's related to indecorum, a transgression of speaking rules, the priority of business, or it's made on an undebatable question that is immediately pending or involved in the appeal. When we, according to Roberts, when we elect a presiding officer, we entrust in them certain things, right? So that they have the duty to make necessary rulings. But we're not going to always agree about it, right? So, and it's almost like you can look at it like debate when you're debating with two members. It's just appeal is just another way of that when you don't agree with the chair. So any two members have the right to appeal. And when Robert speaks to this, they mean it in regards to one member making the appeal and another one seconding it when they in regards to the two members. And what it does is that the question is taken from the chair and the assembly makes the final decision. Right? And that I really just want you to leave with that if a member disagrees, that you can always appeal the decision of the chair. But it must be done in a timely fashion, right? So it must be done when the chair's ruling is made. Don't come back, next meeting or, 30 minutes later or something like that and say, oh, hold up, I think I want to appeal that decision that you made before. You might need to think of some other parliamentary strategies in order for you to revisit those types of discussions. Okay, so appeal, it's an incidental motion, right? Like I said, it's meant when you disagree with the chair, and it really lets the membership makes that decision. It needs to be done at the time of the ruling. And the question is, shall the decision of the chair be sustained, right? And if it is sustained, it upholds the ruling of the chair. So it's a majority or a tie upholds the ruling of the chair. It takes precedence over any question at the time of the chair makes the ruling. It yields to all privilege motions and incidental motions rising out of itself. And it can be applied to any ruling of the presiding officer, except for one when it's related to a point of order. Some of the characteristics, it needs a second. It is not amendable. You can debate it. The only time you can't debate it, we just talked about it on the previous slide. You can interrupt for it. And like I said, you need a majority vote or even a tie vote sustains the decision of the chair, and it can be reconsidered. The effect of this is that, as I stated, like the question is taken from the chair and the assembly makes the final decision. I really don't think people should be, in my opinion, afraid of an appeal. Like I said, I think it's like when you want to debate, when you just don't agree with, a colleague about a decision. The chair can speak twice in an appeal. They can start, the first opportunity to speak, and they also have the last opportunity to speak. And I think I already said about the majority vote, or the tie vote sustains the decision of the chair. So let's go through just a little bit of script on this one. And this one might be just a two-parter. I need a member A, B, and C, and a chair again, please.
Priscilla Murphy, A.
Okay, thank you. Sandy?
Yes, I'll be B. That's fine.
Okay,
Hi, Letitia Bates, I can be the chair.
thank you. And do we have one for member C?
If you need a C, I'll take C.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, member A, can you get us started, please?
I move that we hold a holiday brunch fundraiser in the fall.
Second.
It is moved and second to hold a holiday brunch in the fall. Is there any debate?
Mr. President, or Miss President, sorry.
The chair recognizes member C.
I move that the motion be amended to add and donate a grove of trees in memory of Danny D with the proceeds at the end of the sentence.
Second.
The amendment is not germane to the pending motion of holding a holiday brunch in the fall.
I appeal the decision of the chair.
Second.
The decision of the chair is appealed form. The chair ruled that the amendment is not germane because planting trees in memory of Danny D is not critical to the pending motion of a motion of holding a holiday fundraiser in the fall. The question is, shall the decision of the chair be sustained? Is there any debate?
Let's just assume that there's some back and forth there.
The question is, shall decision of the chair be sustained? All those in favor of sustaining the chair's decision, say A. Those opposed to the sustaining this decision, say no.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. So let me just flag that one for you there too, because I think it's important to me, sometimes I would always in the beginning get confused with these motions with, it's actually so critical about how the question is posed. And it's shall the decision of the chair be sustained, right? So I just really want to just reinforce that, because I think it's important for us to understand that, especially when things can be reconsidered in the affirmative or negative. All right, so in summary, before we get into our Menti questions, I just want to highlight just a couple of things in summary. Tonight, we spoke about 3 motions: the object to the consideration of the question, which is, when you're intended to avoid the main motion altogether, you just don't even want it to hit the floor. And, I called it the negative second, right? So it might be just a convenient way for you to remember that. The postpone indefinitely, it's when you it can be used when the unit would like to decline to take a position on the main question. And by strategists, it can be used to test the strength of the opposition and to also maybe, give an additional opportunity to speak and debate if it's been exhausted before. And for the appeal, we understood that the importance of raising it at the time of the ruling, and that the question is taken from the chair and the assembly makes the final decision. It's also important to understand when an appeal is not debatable, and we talked about those circumstances as well. Okay, so now we're going to spend just a few minutes to sort of see where you are and what you guys might want to discuss around these three motions. This is pull out your phone, log into your computer, go to menti.com and type in this code. And we're going to see, where everybody is in terms of their understanding and their thoughts, right? I think the code will also be at the top of the screen as well, in case you didn't get it. Okay. So what motion should be used to kill a main motion or to allow the group to dispose of a main motion without taking an actual vote on it?
Postpone indefinitely.
Yeah, you can type it in to the Menti. Yeah. Yep. All right, I think we have the majority with postpone indefinitely, which is the correct answer. I think the one response that was object indefinitely, I think they probably meant to put postpone indefinitely. And the one that's postponed, it's important to put indefinitely since there is a postpone definitely as well. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to keep moving here. I just want to be cognizant of time. Okay, debate on the motion to postpone indefinitely. This is multiple choice. It's limited to 3 speeches of 10 minutes each per speaker. It must be focused on the reasons to kill the main motion or kill the motion, or it can go into the merits of the main motion. Okay, all right. I think everybody's doing good on that one. Pretty good. Yep. Okay. I'm going to keep going. Thank you. The motion to postpone indefinitely can be used by strategists to test the strength of the strength on a motion they oppose. True or false? Yep. All right. Thank you. Very good. All right. Appeal is what class of motion? This is a write-in. Type it in. Remember, we went through incidental. That's right. Incidental. That's correct. It's not a subsidiary motion. Okay. All right. Looks like the majority of the group got that. Thank you so much. Who makes the final decision on an appeal? This is a write-in, not a multiple choice. The body, the assembly. Yep. You take it from the chair and you give it back to the body. Yep. Excellent. Thank you so much. Okay, for the appeal, what does the chair say when posing the question to the body? This is a type-in, right? I do think, how these questions are phrased are very important. What does the chair say when posing the question to the body when it's appealed? Shall the decision of the chair be sustained? Okay. All right. All right. So the correct answer is, shall the decision of the chair be sustained? That is what's in Roberts. That's how that's the official answer. So thank you. Okay. Object to the consideration of the question is what class of motion? This is a type-in. All right, I see one incidental, subsidiary, incidental. Okay, so object to the consideration of the question is an incidental motion. It is not a subsidiary. So yeah, just so that we all have the answer to that one. Remember, subsidiary motions are those that help you dispose of business. All right. So I was told that, you know, with a bunch of lawyers and different things like that on the call, that some people might not like a whole bunch of numbers. So, so excuse me. But you have 60 members present and voting. How many votes are needed to dismiss a main motion using object to the consideration of the question? Ooh, it is split. So I tried to put one obvious wrong answer, and then you really kind of needed to understand if this was a majority vote or 2/3. Yeah, no, so this, an object to the consideration of the question is a 2/3 vote. So you need 40 votes in order to dismiss the main motion when using object to the consideration of the question. Okay. All right. So object to the consideration of the question. What does the chair say when posing the question to the body? Shall the question be considered? Any other? All right. That is the correct answer. Shall the question be considered? That is what the chair says when posing the question to the body. That is great. All right, excellent. Okay, I think we're almost done. I might have just maybe one or two more. A motion to postpone indefinitely. Can you interrupt the speaker, or does it require, or does not require a second? Which one is it? Now you guys are making me think that I have something wrong here. A motion to postpone indefinitely, you need to have a second. But you can interrupt the speaker. It is an interrupting motion. All right. Very good. Okay, now this one here is multiple choice. Under what circumstances is an appeal not debatable? As it relates to decorum, transgression of the rules of speaking, relates to the priority of business, made when an undebatable question is immediately pending or involved in an appeal. All of them or none of them? Okay. So far, I see a lot of people resonating with the all of them. And that is correct. That is right. It is all of those reasons is when you are not able to debate an appeal. Okay. Excellent. All right. So this is not meant to say no questions from the audience. If you have questions, you can feel free to come off mute and ask them, and I'll do my best. Or you can, put them in the Menti and they can pop up on the screen and we can, talk about it as a group. So whichever you choose.
RP Reid, just one point of clarification as related to the answer for postpone indefinitely. That is not an interrupting motion. So I just wanted to make that one correction.
Okay.
Object to the consideration is interrupting, but not postpone indefinitely.
Okay. I'm sorry, my question was faulty. So excuse that quiz question. Jonathan, I see you have your hand raised.
Yes. Can objection to the consideration of the question be made against any type of main motion?
I'm going to say yes. Oh, maybe not the incidental main motion. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So yeah, not the incidental main motion, but a main motion, yes.
Can you explain the difference between an incidental and an original main motion?
Oh gosh, I might need to go to some help with that one. So the incidental main motion to me is about procedure and not a new matter of business. It's procedure of how you handle or something related to the main motion. Maybe someone else who might be more proficient with the incidental. I actually think that could be a whole subject in itself. The difference between a main motion and an incidental main motion.
I thought the explanation, you clarified it for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And Kelly, I would agree with you. I actually had that one on a list as one of the ones we could do, the difference between an original main motion, which is the one, as you described, that brings new business to the body for the first time, and that incidental main motion, which is bringing up I don't want to say bringing up new business, but it's kind of how do we want to deal with this issue that we may have heard about before, but we're asking the body to make a decision around something that is not completely new to it. How do we want to dispose of that motion? So I think that actually would be a great topic for us to consider. And if there's anyone on any of our other credentialed members who feel like this is a particular area of study that they have delved into, please come off mute and share your knowledge with us on this one.
Okay. Are there any other questions for me or for that we can talk about as a group too? Love that. I love cross-fertilization of thoughts. So, okay. Well, I think that concludes it for what I wanted to cover today. I just wanted to end with providing you with my email address in case anything comes up and just a summary of who I am again. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It was a pleasure to prepare for, a pleasure to present, and a pleasure to engage in the discussion. So thank you so much, and I'll turn it back over to our President Allen.
Thank you so much, RP Reid. Congratulations. No one would know this, but this has been Kelly's first formal learning opportunity presentation. So we are very proud of her. She did an amazing job. If you got something out of it, please feel free to use her email address and send her a note. If you would like to hear more of these, as we said at the outset, please continue to visit us. You're on our mailing list now, so you should receive our notices. But we definitely want to say thank you to Kelly for an excellent presentation and the ability to not just present what's on the slides, but then be able to answer questions and connect the dots for you. So that's something that we always hope to be able to do. And so I say thank you to everyone who showed up this evening. The link to the evaluation is in the chat. The email address for RP Reid is in the chat. And if you're interested in any of the further stops on our road trip, please join us for the next one. And please hold a date of April 6th. I think RP Reeves, not Reed, we already have that flyer out and posted, correct?
Yes, we do. It's to save the date. We will be opening the link very soon. But let me see if I can put the image in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
And I just wanted to say, if you are credentialed and you're seeking CEUs, there's been a link I've put in the chat several times. You need to click on that and provide your information so that we can submit to NAP directly. And yes, absolutely. February 18th is the next stop on our journey. Thank you, PRP Jenkins. We're very excited for that as well. You are on our mailing list. You will be getting our emails and our newsletter to bring that information to the forefront for you.
Thank you, RP Reeves. Thank you, RP Reid. Thank you to everyone for helping out behind the scenes. We have 8 minutes until our unit meeting. So the members of the parliamentarians of Bucks County, I look forward to seeing you on the other Zoom line in just a short 8 minutes. Thank you, everybody, and have a great rest of your week and a wonderful weekend. Be safe and stay warm.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Great job, Kelly.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well done.
Very
Kelly.
good. Very good presentation.
Oh, thank you so much.
Great
Thank you.
job. Excellent.